The holographic display cast an eerie blue glow across the United Earth Defense Command Center as Commander Maya Rodriguez studied the incoming transmission. The message was brief, but its implications were staggering. The Kraxan Dominion, an advanced civilization that had recently established outposts in neighboring star systems, had issued what amounted to an ultimatum: prove humanity's worth as a spacefaring species or face protective oversight. Commander Rodriguez's fleet of 30 vessels, proudly named the Earthbridge Expedition, must have seemed laughably small to the Kraxan observers. Their massive capital ships, each the size of a small moon, dwarfed Earth's most advanced vessels. But Maya knew something the Kraxans didn't. Size had never been humanity's greatest advantage. "They're scanning us again," Lieutenant Sarah Chen reported from her station, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Their energy signatures suggest they're quite amused by our fleet's composition." Maya allowed herself a small smile. "Let them be amused, Lieutenant. Humanity has survived precisely because others underestimate us." She turned to face the gathered officers in the command center. "What's the status of Project Hydra?" Dr. James Morrison, the lead scientist behind humanity's most closely guarded secret, stepped forward. His dark eyes sparkled with barely contained excitement. "The quantum mesh generators are operating at optimal efficiency, Commander. All 30 ships are ready for the demonstration." The Kraxan ultimatum had given Earth 48 hours to demonstrate its technological capabilities. They expected to see weapons, shields, or perhaps some primitive form of faster-than-light travel. Instead, they would witness something that defied their understanding of physics itself. Maya remembered the day she first learned about Project Hydra. 5 years ago, in the depths of Earth's oceans, marine biologists had discovered something extraordinary: a species of bioluminescent squid that seemed to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. This discovery led to a breakthrough in quantum physics that nobody could have predicted. "The Kraxan fleet is moving into position," Sarah announced, her voice steady despite the tension. "Their formation suggests they're preparing for a standard dominance display. 7 capital ships, each carrying enough firepower to level a continent." Maya nodded, her decision made. "Send the encrypted signal to all ships. Initiate Project Hydra on my mark." She stepped forward, her reflection ghosting across the command center's vast windows. Beyond, Earth's atmosphere shimmered like a protective veil around humanity's cradle. "They think we're primitive because we haven't expanded aggressively," Maya addressed her crew. "They measure civilization by conquest, by the size of their ships and the power of their weapons. But humanity—" She paused, watching as the massive Kraxan vessels took up attack positions. "We learned something different. We learned that nature's greatest innovations often come in the smallest packages." The Kraxan commander's hologram materialized in the center of the command center. Supreme Commander Vex Thor, a towering figure with iridescent scales and multiple eye stalks, looked down at Maya with barely concealed disdain. "Commander Rodriguez," the alien's translated voice resonated through the chamber. "Your species has been granted the honor of demonstrating its capabilities to the Dominion. I trust you understand the consequences of failure." Maya met the alien's gaze steadily. "Oh, we understand perfectly, Supreme Commander. In fact, we've prepared a demonstration that I believe will change your perspective on human innovation." She glanced at Dr. Morrison, who gave a subtle nod. "But first, I have a question for you. Have you ever studied Earth's oceans?" Vex Thor's eye stalks twitched in confusion. "Your primitive seas. What relevance could they possibly have?" "You'd be surprised," Maya replied, her finger hovering over the command interface. "You see, we humans have a saying: the best things come in small packages, but perhaps it's better if we show you." As the Kraxan fleet watched, anticipating some primitive display of force, Maya gave the order that would change the course of human history. "All ships, initiate Project Hydra. Let's show our guests why they should never judge a species by the size of its fleet." The demonstration was about to begin, and with it, humanity's place in the galaxy would be forever altered. but not in the way anyone, human or Kraxan, expected. Dr. Morrison's voice remained steady as he initiated the quantum mesh sequence. The technology it were about to unleash had begun with a simple observation in Earth's deepest trenches, the way certain cephalopods could seemingly exist in multiple states simultaneously, their neural networks operating on quantum principles that defied classical physics. The 30 ships of the Earth Bridge expedition hung motionless against the star-speckled void. Each vessel contained billions of quantum-entangled particles, arranged in patterns that mimicked the neural architecture of those deep-sea creatures. As the activation signal spread through the fleet, these particles began to resonate. Quantum mesh generators at 60%, Sarah Chen announced, her fingers tracking the energy signatures. Field coherence holding steady. Maya watched as the first signs of the transformation became visible. Around each ship, space itself seemed to ripple, like heat waves rising from sun-baked asphalt. The Kraxan vessel's sensors must have been going haywire, trying to make sense of readings that shouldn't have been possible. Your demonstration lacks impact, Vex Thor's hologram sneered. If this display of atmospheric distortion is meant to... He fell silent as the first quantum duplicates began to manifest. It started with the flagship. Like a cellular organism undergoing mitosis, the vessel seemed to split in two. But these weren't mere holograms or force field projections. Each copy was physically real, composed of matter drawn from quantum fluctuations in spacetime itself. The process cascaded through the fleet, each ship becoming 2, then 4, then 8. Impossible. Vex Thor's translator barely managed to convey his shock. This violates fundamental laws of matter conservation. Dr. Morrison stepped forward, his eyes gleaming. Only the laws as you understand them. Supreme Commander, we discovered that consciousness itself plays a role in quantum mechanics far deeper than anyone imagined. Those deep-sea creatures showed us that biology had already solved problems our physicists thought impossible. The multiplication continued. Where 30 ships had hung in space, now thousands flickered into existence. Each duplicate was temporary, existing in a quantum superposition that would eventually collapse, but for this crucial moment, they were as real and capable as their originals. You see, Maya explained to the increasingly agitated Kraxan commander, humanity never needed to build bigger ships. We learned instead to exist in multiple states simultaneously, to harness the quantum nature of reality itself. Every ship you see is both real and unreal, existing in a carefully maintained quantum state. The Kraxan fleet's weapons remained powered down, their tactical systems overwhelmed by the impossible task of tracking the exponentially growing human fleet. What had started as a demonstration of force was becoming a lesson in the power of innovation. But how do you maintain quantum coherence at this scale? Vex Thor demanded, his scientific curiosity temporarily overriding his military bearing. The energy requirements alone. That's where the real breakthrough came, Dr. Morrison interjected. The quantum mesh doesn't require external energy to maintain coherence. It's self-sustaining, drawing power from the quantum fluctuations it creates. Just like those deep-sea creatures, it exists in a state of perpetual quantum equilibrium. Around them, the duplicate ships began to move in perfect synchronization, forming complex geometric patterns that no single fleet could achieve. Each movement was a dance of probability and possibility, a demonstration that humanity had learned to bend reality itself to its will. We call it Project Hydra, Maya said, after the mythical creature that grew 2 heads for every one cut off. But unlike the myth, our ships don't just multiply. They represent humanity's understanding that the universe is stranger and more wonderful than we ever imagined. The demonstration reached its apex as the duplicates arranged themselves into a vast sphere around the Kraxan fleet. Not as a threat, but as a proof that humanity had transcended traditional concepts of space warfare. They had turned their smallest ships into an armada that could adapt and multiply at will. The question now, Maya addressed Vex Thor, whose eye stalks had stopped twitching and now focused intently on the sensor readings. isn't whether humanity is worthy of joining the galactic community. The question is whether the galactic community is ready for what humanity has discovered. As the first phase of duplicates began to collapse back into quantum possibility, Maya could see the calculations running behind Vexthor's eyes. The Kraxan Dominion had come expecting to find primitives playing at spaceflight. Instead, they had found innovators who had learned to manipulate the fabric of reality itself. Vexthor's response came not in words but in action. The Kraxan vessel's weapon systems powered up, their massive hull plates shifting to reveal quantum cannon arrays. Not an attack, yet, but a reflexive response to a situation their military doctrine hadn't prepared them for. Fascinating, Dr. Morrison murmured, studying the readings from the Kraxan ships. Their quantum cannons operate on principles similar to our mesh technology. They've mastered quantum manipulation for destruction, but never considered its creative applications. Maya kept her voice level as she addressed the Kraxan commander. Your weapons are impressive, Supreme Commander, but unnecessary. Our demonstration isn't complete. The quantum duplicates began a new phase of their dance. Instead of maintaining separate forms, they started merging and splitting in rhythmic patterns. 2 ships would combine into one larger vessel, then split into 4 smaller craft. The transformations rippled through space like waves in a cosmic ocean. This is beyond multiplication, Sarah Chin explained, her hands flying over her console as she coordinated the complex quantum choreography. We're demonstrating full matter manipulation at the quantum level. Each transformation creates new configurations, new possibilities. The Kraxan sensors registered something else. Each transformation was releasing minute quantities of a previously unknown form of energy. The quantum mesh wasn't just rearranging matter, it was generating power from the very act of existing in multiple states. Your quantum cannons harness potential energy, Maya explained to Vexthor. Our ships create it. Every split, every merge, adds to the total energy in the system. We're not just building ships. We're expanding the boundaries of what's possible. A sudden surge of energy from one of the Kraxan vessels drew everyone's attention. Their sensors had overloaded trying to track the quantum transformations. Vexthor's hologram flickered as his ship's systems struggled to maintain power. You've made your point, Commander Rodriguez, Vexthor conceded, his translator struggling to convey the complex mix of emotions in his voice. But you must understand. This technology, this capability, it changes everything. The balance of power in the galaxy was never about power, Maya interrupted. That's what we've been trying to show you. Earth's greatest achievements didn't come from domination or control. They came from understanding, from learning to work with the fundamental forces of nature rather than against them. The quantum duplicates began a final transformation. Instead of combining back into their original forms, they merged into something entirely new. A vast network of interconnected vessels, each one sharing energy and information through quantum entanglement. This is what humanity offers the galaxy, Dr. Morrison announced. Not weapons or armies, but new ways of thinking. New possibilities. The quantum mesh doesn't just copy ships. It proves that reality itself is more flexible than anyone imagined. The Kraxan fleet's weapon systems powered down. Around them, the quantum network pulsed with potential, each node both independent and part of a greater whole. It was a physical demonstration of what humanity had learned in its evolution. That strength comes not from size or power, but from adaptation and cooperation. Your species has indeed proven itself, Vexthor acknowledged. But you must realize that this technology, this understanding, others will come. Not all will share our willingness to learn. Maya smiled. We're counting on it, Supreme Commander, because what you've seen today isn't a weapon, it's an invitation. An invitation to explore what's possible when we stop trying to dominate reality and start learning to dance with it instead. The quantum network shimmered one final time before beginning its collapse back into the original 30 ships, but the effect of the demonstration would ripple through the galaxy like the quantum waves that had birthed it, carrying with it a simple message. Humanity had arrived, not with a bang, but with a fundamental reimagining of what was possible. In the aftermath of the demonstration, the command center transformed into an impromptu symposium. Dr. Morrison's holographic displays filled the space with complex quantum equations and biological models, while Craxan scientists joined the discussion through hastily established quantum links. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source, Morrison explained, projecting an image of the deep-sea creature that had started it all. The crystalline squid, as Earth scientists had named it, possessed neural networks that naturally maintained quantum coherence at biological temperatures. While everyone else looked to the stars for advanced physics, we found it in Earth's oceans. The Craxan scientists watched in fascination as Morrison demonstrated how the creature's neural patterns had been mapped and translated into technological form. Each quantum mesh generator in the Earth fleet contained crystalline structures that mimicked the squid's neural architecture, allowing for stable quantum states at a macroscopic scale. But it wasn't just about copying nature, Maya added, watching as Vexthor's scientific advisors pored over the data. It was about understanding why evolution had produced such a capability in the first place. The answer lay in survival. The crystalline squid used its quantum neural network to exist in multiple probabilistic states simultaneously, allowing it to evade predators by essentially being everywhere and nowhere at once. Humanity had taken this principle and expanded it to encompass entire starships. The energy efficiency is remarkable, one of the Craxan scientists noted, their translated voice carrying a tone of professional admiration. Our quantum cannons require massive power inputs for milliseconds of quantum manipulation. Your ships maintain stable quantum states indefinitely. Sarah Chen stepped forward, pulling up the energy readings from the demonstration. That's because we're not forcing quantum effects, we're cultivating them. The quantum mesh doesn't fight entropy, it works with it. Each probability wave reinforces the others, creating a self-sustaining system. The implications went far beyond military applications. The technology that allowed ships to split and merge could revolutionize space travel, construction, even planetary colonization. A single seed ship could become an entire fleet or merge into a space station, adapting to whatever form was needed. There's something else, Dr. Morrison added, his expression thoughtful. During the demonstration, we detected quantum entanglement effects at scales we never thought possible. The duplicates weren't just copies, they were sharing information instantly across space-time itself. This revelation caused a stir among the Craxan scientists. Their civilization had long theorized about quantum communication networks, but had never achieved stable entanglement at macroscopic scales. Yet here was humanity, their supposedly primitive neighbors, casually demonstrating mastery of quantum mechanics that bordered on the impossible. We've only scratched the surface, Maya continued, watching as human and Craxan scientists began exchanging theories and possibilities. The quantum mesh doesn't just duplicate matter. It proves that reality itself is more malleable than we imagined. Every ship in that demonstration was simultaneously real and unreal, existing in a superposition of states that challenges our very understanding of existence. Vexthor, who had remained silent during the technical discussions, finally spoke. Your species has achieved something remarkable, Commander Rodriguez. You've taken the quantum principles we use for destruction and turned them into tools of creation. The question now is, what do you intend to do with this power? The command center fell quiet as all eyes turned to Maya. The answer she gave would determine not just humanity's future, but potentially the course of galactic civilization itself. The quantum mesh technology could be a weapon, a shield, or something entirely new, a bridge between different ways of thinking about the universe itself. Maya's response came in the form of a command. With a subtle gesture, she initiated the quantum mesh's final configuration. The remaining duplicates began to merge, not back into their original forms, but into something new, a vast structure that bridged the space between the human and Craxan fleets. We intend to build bridges, she stated simply. The quantum mesh technology isn't meant to be a weapon or a shield. It's meant to be a tool for exploration, cooperation, and growth. The structure taking shape between the fleets was a physical manifestation of this philosophy, a quantum-enabled space station forming spontaneously from the merged vessels. Its crystalline architecture pulsed with the same bioluminescent patterns as the deep-sea creature that had inspired its creation. Our ships can become whatever we need them to be, Dr. Morrison explained, monitoring the transformation. Vessels, stations, habitats, the only limit is our imagination and our willingness to work together. The Kraxan scientists watched in amazement as the station stabilized, its quantum field extending to encompass both fleets in a gentle embrace. Within this field, the barriers between human and Kraxan technology began to blur, their systems harmonizing through quantum entanglement. This is what humanity offers the galaxy, Maya continued. Not dominance, not submission, but partnership. We've learned that the greatest innovations come not from conquest, but from understanding. Not from power, but from adaptation. Vexthor moved closer to the holographic display, his eye stalks taking in every detail of the quantum station. You could have used this technology to build an unstoppable armada, he observed. Instead, you build connections. Because that's what life on Earth taught us, Sarah Chen added. Every major breakthrough in our history came from observing and learning from the natural world. The quantum mesh is just the latest example. The station's influence spread, creating a space where human and Kraxan technology could interact directly. Data began flowing freely between the civilizations, each sharing insights that the other had missed. The Kraxan's expertise in quantum weapons revealed new possibilities for stabilizing the mesh, while human biological models suggested ways to improve Kraxan energy systems. We're offering the galaxy something more valuable than weapons, Maya explained. We're offering a new way of thinking about technology, about cooperation, about existence itself. The quantum mesh doesn't just copy or divide. It proves that we're all connected in ways we're only beginning to understand. As if to emphasize her point, the station's quantum field revealed patterns of connection that had always existed but had never been visible before. Threads of quantum entanglement linking not just the ships and station, but extending out into space itself, a cosmic web of possibility and potential. Your arrival forced us to reveal this technology earlier than planned, Maya acknowledged. But perhaps that's for the best. The challenges facing our galaxy, exploration, resource management, the very nature of existence, these aren't problems any species can solve alone. The Kraxan fleet's formation shifted, moving from a combat stance to one of cooperation. Vexthor's final words marked not just the end of a potential conflict, but the beginning of something far more significant. The Dominion came to judge humanity's worth as a spacefaring species, he declared. Instead, humanity has judged us all, and found us ready for something greater. Let this station stand as the first of many bridges between our peoples, a testament to what becomes possible when we stop measuring civilization by the size of its ships, and start measuring it by the scope of its vision. The quantum station pulsed with possibility, its very existence a promise of things to come. In the depths of space, where the Kraxan Dominion had expected to find primitives playing at spaceflight, they had instead discovered partners in the greatest adventure of all. The exploration not just of space, but of reality itself.